Perfect meet, 9 out of 9, 27 white lights. You can't beat that.
What is up, guys? So I just competed in Austin. I just totaled 855 kilograms in my competition, squatted 716 pounds, which is 325 kilograms, bench 180 or 396 pounds, and deadlifted 771 pounds or 350 kilos. That puts me, I think, at like 1,884 pounds. And the crazy part is that this entire prep has been an absolute crap show. So we're gonna go over it. I don't know how I want to put this video together because in the past, if you guys have been watching my videos and following along, I had a series called Road to 850. Reason being is because in my previous competition, which was in the spring, I totaled 805 kilograms. So it made sense to shoot for 850 next. And I was hoping to hit 850 in training. And the truth is I could have hit it, but I don't control what I do in training. My coach does, so he programs and I follow it. I left Houston and I had to move to Massachusetts at first, and then eventually I moved to North Carolina. So a lot of moving, new job, full-time job, job training, all this crazy stuff happening. And all the issues originated way back to September when I moved to North Carolina. I had to travel to Charlotte to do a week of training for the company I work for now. And that week was a week 4. Sean had a 661 squat for 4.
Let's go. Come on.
Which was insane. It was the craziest squat I probably ever completed in my life. That same week I did 716 deadlift for 3. I was so fatigued, tired, and beat up, but I went through it. I got through it. I wanted 716. I wanted to load the 6 spreads with the collar, and I did it. I got back, and at the time, I was doing my high bar secondary squat day with just heels. I looked at my bag to get my heels to put them inside my shoe, and I realized I lost one of them. I probably lost it at that gym that I was training at in Charlotte. And for some reason, I stopped using my regular heels, my squat shoes with heels. So I loaded 260 kilos, which is 573, high bar for my secondary day, and just did it in flats. Which was a huge PR. It was the craziest high bar set I've ever done. But man, it destroyed me. I knew it right away that it's gonna absolutely destroy me. The next week, when I go to squat, I'm like, man, I am wrecked. My left quad, the bottom side of my quad here, the outer side of my quad, was destroyed. For some reason, I was just like, okay, this has to be just super, a lot of just soreness built up from a crazy week 4. Didn't think much of it. But little did I know that the next 3 months were gonna be really frustrating. And at this point, I'm literally, 10 weeks out? I have a block for 4 weeks and then 2 blocks of 3 weeks right ahead of me. At the time, I'm like, man, I'm so close to competing. I cannot take like a 2-week break or a 1-week break to let this quad, heal. And I've only even thought about that being a potential, like something that I might do after like 2 weeks where I was like, okay, I'm heading into a week 3 and the pain is still persisting and it's bad. Training with a lot of pain, and I'm taking ibuprofen and Tylenol for my primary days at the end of the next block, and then the block after, which is, you know, at that point I'm like 6 weeks out, 7 weeks out. So just training through the squat pain, right? But I'm getting through it. I'm like, okay, everything's gonna work out. I told my coach about it. I bought new heels inserts so I can start squatting with heel inserts. I try to fix the issue. Nori is like, it might be an issue with your hip. And I'm doing all these things. I'm trying to exercise and warm up properly and do these exercises, try to relieve the pain, and it's not getting any better. And then finally, the last block, I'm heading to my peak week and things are starting to look a little bit better. I'm starting to see a little light at the end of the tunnel. And peak week hits. Still not fully 100% back, right? Quad feels like it's about 85-90% back. And the block before my final block, my last squat was 694. Come on, Ben. Light. There you go. I smoked. I had pain. I took Tylenol. I smoked it. Great. Pulled 750 pounds.
Peter, enraged by such an act, pulled out a sword and sliced one of the high priest's servants. "Put your sword in its place," said Jesus. "For those who draw the sword die by it. Do you think I cannot call on my Father to put at my disposal an army of 12 legions of angels?"
Which is the first time I pulled 750 since like early summer. And then the final block comes, right? I'm going into my peak week. My coach only has me at a 677 squat. Still a little bit of quad pain, but I smoked it. Now, I was gonna make an entire YouTube video on just that, but because of the way the timing worked out, I wanted to just put this all into one video. And here we are. Smoked the 677. The pain started getting better. I'm hopeful. I'm like, you know what? I'm competing next week. It's gonna be great. Have a 750 pull. Really fatigued at this point. My body's feeling it. But it was a decent pull. It wasn't bad. You know, I wanted to slingshot it, but it wasn't bad, right? Not even, but it wasn't even as good as the previous block, which kind of threw me off, but I was like, all right, whatever. I'm just fatigued from training. And Friday night hits, I'm hanging out with my friends, and we're playing this game. I think it's called, there's like 2 killers, the rest are villagers. You don't want to get killed. You're playing in a house, and like the lights are off. And we're like, you know, playing this game, and the first 2 rounds I lose really easily, so I'm kind of frustrated. And the 3rd round, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna get killed. I'm not gonna get murdered in this game, right? And at one point, I'm getting chased by somebody. And I'm like running around this house, this big bodies trying to run around the house, trying to get away from this person. And I'm making circles around the island, the kitchen. And at one point I'm like, no, I started slipping, and my entire 250-pound body, full sprint, just crashed into a coffee table. The corner of that table into my quad, and just, man, the craziest deadlift you can ever think of. I'm like on the floor, just like in agony, in pain. And I'm like thinking to my head, I compete in a week. That's all I can think of. I'm competing in a freaking week. All this training, all this hard work for nothing. It's all gonna fall apart. And I mean it when I say this, like the pain was so bad. I'm like, I for sure have some tissue damage, for sure. Like I'm hopeful, like for some reason there was a little bit of me that still believed that I'll be okay, but it was, it sucked. The next day, I wake up, Saturday, secondary SBD day. Well, it's my primary bench and secondary squat and deadlift, and I can't walk. My leg is swollen, and I got this massive bruise on my quad, and I decided not to lift that day because I couldn't even get into the bench position because the tightness and swelling was so bad, and not squat or deadlift, so that was out of the question. SBD day, a week out, my peak week, and at this point I'm like, okay, Either I don't compete next weekend because the pain, you know, ends up being so bad, or I do and I underperform by a lot. But I realized I had to compete because that was the only way I can qualify for nationals, right? I decided to, okay, you know, I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna try to figure it out. I got a taper week next week. I'll do my best. I know I was gonna be a little undertrained. Sunday, can't walk either. I'm literally limping. My leg is not functioning. I can't even do an air squat. And then I head into my taper week. So on Monday, I take my taper bench, moves okay. Legs starting to feel better, a lot better even. And I'm like, okay, little hope. Tuesday, I have a 634 squat programmed.
Come on. Nice.
Quick top set breakdown. Didn't move too bad, didn't move too perfect. I wouldn't say it's perfect, I wouldn't say it's terrible. Kind of the middle, felt like that's a little bit. Good thing is I don't really feel it down here, but I do feel it where that bruising happened, just slightly. I have a harder time loading that quad and keeping that super tight tension. So I feel like I have a little less control. And if this, you know, in the past 2 days, it's healed up that fast, I do have a lot of faith that by Saturday, I'll be okay. I'll be okay to squat over 700, which is gonna be great. You know, even if I just walk away with a 716 squat, yes, it's not 733, yes, it's not 738, but hey, with the circumstances that I went through, squatting 716, I'll be happy with that. It doesn't move great, definitely doesn't move great, but moves okay. Just okay, just enough to give me a little glimpse of hope. And I took so much Tylenol that I couldn't even feel my quads on the way down. I couldn't properly load, so it felt a little funny, but I was like, all right, I might be able to pull through. Take my deadlift.
Come on.
Sean, you know, touches up the program a little bit, so I kind of train a little bit more because I'm detrained at this point. I missed my SBD day, and I get through my bench the following day. We're in 2 days. And that was my taper week. So we're off to the races. We're ready to go compete. You know, a few months before this, I was like, man, I would love to have a 770 total. Now, I had an 805 total in the spring, so I'm shooting really high. I want the world, I want everything, right? But, you know, at this point, I'm like, okay, let's just go see what we have for the day. That's the only thing I can think of. Let's just see what we have for today. So Friday, the goal is to fly into Houston. I drive to Austin for Friday night, and then we compete Saturday. Thursday night, I'll have a plane that departs at 5 a.m. So I gotta leave for the airport at 3:30 a.m. I finish packing at 2:30. I sleep for 45 minutes. My friend brings me to the airport, and the first flight's 45 minutes, so I doze off for 45 minutes. I get to the next flight. It's, you know, 2.5 hours or whatever it is. I sleep 2.5 hours. So Thursday into Friday, I'm sleeping a total of like 4 hours. Terrible. If you're gonna go compete, sleep for more than 4 hours 2 days before, because it's gonna throw you off. So I get into Houston. I'm doing my best to eat as much as I can. This is Friday at this point. I meet with Steve, Joe, and Sean, and we're headed to Austin. We get to Austin, we get our food, we get to the Airbnb, we set up, and the Airbnb wasn't a very good one. It wasn't bad, but the room that I claimed, the bed that I claimed was subpar at best, okay? Very uncomfortable, terrible cover, terrible pillow, like, and this is very normal. Like, when you're not in your own bed, you might have a lower quality of sleep, right? But this was worse than I wanted it to be, okay? We're just like hanging out, we're having a good time, hanging out with Grant, Demetrius, all the boys. Joey Flex pulls up, and we go out to eat. We're eating well. We ate so good. We just ate so much. We had pho, we came back, we had Domino's. I mean, boys were eating. And we're just hanging out, playing President. It's a pretty fun card game. And at this point, it's like 1 a.m. I'm like, all right, guys, I'm gonna go to sleep. 1 a.m. in Houston is 2 a.m. back home, so it's pretty late, right? The good thing is we have a second session the next day on Saturday, so I knew I was gonna sleep in. And I get to bed, I fall asleep. But of course, I'm wide awake at like 7:30 a.m. because I'm so used to waking up at that time when I'm back home. So I obviously got more sleep that night leading to comp day, but it wasn't like amazing sleep. It was just a little bit better. You know, I was kind of like half asleep throughout the night. I woke up to use the bathroom and a few times, like it was just weird. Like my body didn't want to go into like that deep, you know, healing recovery sleep, if you know what I mean. It just felt very superficial, but I felt okay. You know, I felt pretty good because we just ate so much food and my body didn't feel gross or anything. I definitely think the taper worked.
It is meat day, ladies and gentlemen. We have Big Mike in the kitchen. We're here. Steve's about to kill us right now because we're taking our sweet old time. That's right. We got to get going. But we're going to go to weigh-ins with equipment check. Right here, right now. Hardest workers, let's go.
I'm ready to bomb out.
Yeah, we had into meet day. We had second session. I get there, I weigh in. And I weigh in and all morning I'm giga bloating. I'm just eating as much food as I physically can. I'm having salt, I'm having water. I'm literally trying to weigh in at a heavier weight. If it wasn't for that, I probably could have weighed in at like 109 kilos, but I weighed at 122. I think those 3 kilos were like fake for sure.
We're about to start warming up to do to start lifting. We got here like 12:45. It's just about to be 3 o'clock, so I had a lot of time to eat. I weighed in at 112 kilograms, so a lot of weight to go, but I'm feeling good. And I'm gonna just put in the clips from my attempts, and we're gonna have a little breakdown at the end, just because I don't have a video man today to just record, video guy. So I'll see you guys at the end of the attempts. Let's do this.
And weighing at 122 by the time we get there. It's like 3:30 by the time we start competing. I then proceed to have the best meet of my life. Players are like, ibuprofen. He's like, I have ibuprofen. I'm like, bro, please spare brother some ibuprofens. So he was able to give me some, and I took him, and yeah, I felt good. But the only thing I could say was I could not feel my quads too well, because I think the painkillers just numb my body so much. And I just couldn't feel the squat very well on the eccentric. I felt like I was just like dive bombing everything. But I felt strong. I felt the strongest I've ever been, weirdly enough. And then I proceed to squat 28 pounds for the opener.
Let's see it here. Speedy opener at 285 kilograms with plenty more in the tank.
Then 305, which literally moved like air.
Second effort from Ben. 3 white lights, 672 pounds.
And I look at Nabil, which was my handler, and I'm like, dude, we're loading 325.
First 700 pounds squat, Ben. Let's give it up for Ben, 325 kilograms on the bar, 716.5 pounds. Let's give it up for Ben, y'all. Let's go, Ben, come on.
And then same with bench. Literally, I get into bench, and at this point, my back feels really tight and cramped. Not like to the point where I can't bench anymore, but like definitely more than you'd like it to be. And that's pretty normal after like putting 700 plus pounds on your back for the first time. But yeah, we get to bench, you know, my bench openers at 162 moves fine, then 172 moves fine, which is already a comp PR. And then we loaded 180. I for sure could have benched 182 to 185, which would have been, you know, 407 or 4, whatever, 19. But yeah, 396 bench, huge PR. We move forward. Then we get to the deadlifts. And this is where I feel like the being detrained and having those really tough last 2 weeks of training played a role in just being injured, because I pulled 771 for the first time at the beginning of summer in July when I left Houston. And since then I only pulled 750 twice. But I was hoping to get maybe, you know, squeeze 793 out of this comp. But at this point, my quads felt it, my CNS felt it. And truthfully, more important than all, my grips felt it, my hands felt it. And if you can't hold that weight, it don't matter how strong you are, you're not gonna get that weight off the ground. I had a very scary moment when I was pulling my last warm up at 606, where I felt a little slippage in my hands, and I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no, no, no. So I had a 315 open, which is a huge opener. I mean, it's not like insanely huge, but it's bigger. I take that.
Speedy opener for Ben, 315 kilos.
Go to 340. And the lockout felt a little slower than it should have been. I seen Nabil and I'm like, yo, 352, which would have been 778. He's like, just take 350. And I took 350. It was...
Let's hear it for him, everybody! Let's go, Ben! Let's go, Ben!
The right move. It was the right number. As much as I feel like I could have had 2 to 5 kilos more, I don't know if my hands could have had it.
All right, guys, so we just finished competing. I put 855 up total. I was hoping for like an 870. So technically underachieved a little bit from what I wanted, but in the spring I put up an 805 total, which is 50 kilos, 110 pounds from what I did in the spring. So that's phenomenal. My CNS felt it a little bit.
Long day.
It was a long day.
You
squatted 716. Bench felt great, and overall, like, I'm really happy with the performance.
It's a 110-pound meet PR.
Yeah.
You have to be proud of yourself. That was huge, and now it's only up from there, bro. So I'm proud of you. Perfect meet, 9 out of 9, 27 white lights. You can't beat that.
Yeah.
You
And
really
big
can't.
shout out for Nabil for handling me today. Shout out Sawyer for giving me knee sleeves because I forgot mine back home, which is
We saved your ass.
literally saved me. And overall, guys, appreciate y'all watching and following along. National is gonna be big. We're gonna total over 900. It's gonna happen, guys. We're gonna put on some weight. We're gonna total over 9. It's gonna be great. We'll see you then. Thank you, bro.
And then I total 855 kilos. So road to 850 is complete, man. Now it's road to 907.5 kilos, which is 2,000 pounds total. Yeah, I got like 12 weeks, super underweight, so I gotta eat a lot of food, and my quad is feeling better. This is my first week back and I'm absolutely killed. So I'm doing my best to recover, get into a better state, and just take this prep more seriously. Not that I wasn't in my, in this prep that I, up until now, but just because, like, if I want 900 plus kilos total, it's gonna require me to sacrifice other things in my life, to take it seriously, to put on weight, to take my training seriously, and just have everything locked in. To get to where I want to be, I need 340 squat, which is 750. I need 190 to 195 bench, and which is like 430 whatever something. And I need 375 deadlift. So another 25 kilos on deadlift. I just believe I can get there if I have my training in order. You know, missing secondary SBD days. I think, and the crazy part is I think I missed the secondary SBD day the week before the peak week as well, because I felt like I was too fatigued going into it. Crazy stuff like that, guys. I gotta do my best to control variables that I can, train as hard as I can, be honest with myself, but I think my body's more than capable of doing 900 plus. So we're gonna aim for it. We're gonna shoot for the stars. We might land on the moon, you know. A year ago I had a 725 kilo total. We're up 130 kilos in about a year and some change. So we've progressed very fast. So sometimes when things go up very fast, they come down just as fast. But I don't believe that's the case with this. I think we're gonna just keep going up. I hope y'all appreciated this video. It's definitely different, but I wanted to give you guys all the rundown of what the heck happened in the past couple of weeks, in the past 3 months, how I got to an 855 kilo total. And honestly, if you took anything from this video, is you don't need to have perfect training, perfect conditions, perfect variables to make progress. You don't. As long as you have the majority of your training in place, right? As long as you're doing the majority of things right, you're still gonna make progress. So hope that's encouraging. If you guys are interested in using my code for Gymshark, my protein, or if you're interested in coaching by me, all that is in the description. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.